The work of French artist Odilon Redon, regarded as one of the most important and original symbolists of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, defies easy categorization. His work transcends the boundaries of conventional artistic movements, blending elements of symbolism, surrealism, and even hints of Impressionism. Through his exploration of dreams, imagination, and the subconscious, Redon is most well known for his body of monochromatic artwork that exploited the expressive and suggestive powers of the color black, known as the Noir series. Although many other more colourful works of his would be just as compelling and unsettling, it is his sinister black charcoal noir drawings that seem to tap deep into the curiosity of many art enthusiasts when they hear the name of Odilon Redon, primarily for their intimate connection to the hidden side of Redon's mind that he would creatively and willingly put on display for viewers to experience. In this video, we will delve into that very same experience together by taking a close look at some of Redon's most fascinating pieces within his Noir series, to unravel the mysteries that lie within many of the strange dreams and nightmares that he would bring to life. Whether depicting fantastical creatures, haunting landscapes, or ethereal figures, many compositions of his within this morbidly alluring series invite us to embark on a journey of pure introspection and contemplation. But since his talent transcends his use of charcoal alone, particularly in his later work, we'll also be taking a quick look at some of his other paintings and pastel drawings as well, as I feel there is still much that we can explore within his more abstract and vibrant world which he created alongside his darker work. His ability to go beyond the confines of reality and evoke a sense of wonder continue to inspire generations of artists and art fans alike, including me, someone who loves to create art with charcoal and pastel myself, who regards him as a very big influence, as well as some viewers on his channel who I noticed suggested that I cover this artist someday, and I guess now is that time. Please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos from me on the weird and wonderful side of the art world. And of course, welcome to another video, my friends. Join me as we embark on a journey into the mystical realms of Redon's imagination, where the boundaries between the conscious and the subconscious blur, and the mysteries of existence unfold. Odilon Redon, born Bertrand Jean Redon on April 20th, 1840 in Bordeaux, France, was raised in a cultured bourgeois family. The wealth of his family ripened from rather unfortunate roots, however, as his father made his fortune through the slave trade in Louisiana during the 1830s. Redon initially pursued a career in architecture, studying briefly under Jean-Léon Bonnat in Paris. However, his true passion lay in the realm of art, showing fine promise at drawing at a young age, and he soon abandoned architecture to dedicate himself fully to creating art. Redon's early artistic endeavours were influenced by the works of Romantic and Symbolist movements, as well as by his encounters with the literary and philosophical currents of his time. He experimented with various media, including charcoal, lithography, and etching, developing a distinctive style characterized by a delicate balance between light and shadow and an emphasis on imaginative subject matter. In the 1870s, after returning from his service in the Franco-Prussian War until its end in 1871, Redon worked meticulously in refining his style. He eventually began to gain recognition for a series of charcoal drawings known as the Noirs, which depicted fantastical and often macabre imagery inspired by his dreams and inner visions. By the 1880s, these works attracted the attention of influential writers and artists, including Joris-Karl Huysmans, who championed Redon's unique artistic vision, including his drawings in his cult novel titled À rebours, or Against Nature in English. Throughout his career, Redon continued to evolve as an artist, experimenting with colour and form in his later pastel and oil pieces. His imagery ranged from haunting landscapes and mysterious figures to vivid depictions of flowers and other natural elements, all imbued with a sense of otherworldly beauty and mystery. By the beginning of the 1900s, after seemingly abandoning his dark and moody charcoal drawings altogether for more abstract paintings, Redon's artistic achievements were recognized with numerous exhibitions and accolades, including the Legion of Honor in 1903 and the Salon du Dôme in 1904. Despite his growing reputation, Redon remained a private and introspective individual, preferring to let his art speak for itself rather than seeking fame or notoriety. And it was around this time that another curious development in his style began to emerge, which was his keen interest in Hinduism and Buddhism, as well as their cultures, which increasingly showed in his work. Most notably, his piece titled The Buddha, completed in 1905, which features what appears to be the Japanese interpretation of the Buddha of infinite light and life named Amitabha, the central Buddha of devotion within the Pure Land sect of Buddhism that flourished throughout Northeast Asia. As the new century continued, Odilon passed away on July 6, 1916, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire and intrigue artists and art enthusiasts around the world. His exploration of inner depths of a human psyche and his ability to evoke a sense of wonder and mystery through his art ensure that his work remains as relevant and captivating today as it was during his lifetime. First, I'd like us to take a look at one of his earlier pieces within his Noir collection, titled Guardian Spirit of the Waters, completed in 1878. This charcoal composition seems to grab the viewer's attention immediately, with what could only be described as a large head hovering in the sky above a calm ocean, with equally large yet expressively gentle eyes gazing downwards towards a sailboat, with surrounding gulls flitting about and skimming the waves. The sea stretches far out to a featureless horizon, presenting us with an immediate sense of vastness. If you look closer, you can just about make out a delicate-looking halo that surrounds the head, as well as what appears to be a wing on the far left, giving this strange head a character of being angelic or like a divine being, whilst also maintaining a degree of ominous domination over the environment below. According to one source I came across, when the artist's father, Bernard Redon, was a young man, he travelled from France to Louisiana in order to try and recoup the family's lost wealth that he had accumulated in the slave trade. While there, he met and married Redon's mother, Odile. On their later return to France, Odile was pregnant with Odilon, who was subsequently born in Bordeaux. The artist often regretted that he was not born at sea, an environment that Odilon himself described as, quote, a place without a country on an abyss. With this in mind, perhaps this work could be seen as representing a kind of alternative birth for Redon. Perhaps the large head in the sky is actually a self-portrait of his destined or even desired emergence into the world as he always envisioned. It's of course hard to say for sure, but the strange imagery nevertheless beautifully foreshadows a surrealist style that would become increasingly popular throughout the 20th century, in which such imagery invites the viewer to ask many questions like this. As for the technical aspects of this piece, the drawing is very typical of Redon's noirs, in which he manipulated the charcoal medium as well as merely applying it to paper in order to achieve the array of tones and textures that we can see. Such techniques that he would master included wiping, stumping, smudging, and even adding touches of chalk to enhance highlights. most notably around the eye of a head facing a viewer, which seems to have a distinctive glowing ring around it, as if caught in a light beam of the sun, which again emphasizes the heavenly and benevolent aura that seems to emanate from this being, watching quietly from above. This next piece, which I consider to be one of his most gripping when I first saw it, is simply titled Apparition, with a slightly uncertain completion date between 1880 and 1890. This would in fact be one of other artworks that shared this title, which included his later piece under the same name, completed in 1910, featuring an abstract floral display and two ghostly white figures walking down a hazy staircase on the right, presenting both a mysterious atmosphere accompanied by a disorientating cascade of colour. In this earlier work though, the atmosphere is nothing short of sheer threat and dread. There are heavy deposits of charcoal spread across the paper like black rain, with the mysterious face of a bearded man peering through on the right, with dark, sunken eyes. The ambiguity of the figure's identity and significance is one of the most striking aspects of this work. Is it a ghost, a spirit, or simply a figment of the artist's imagination? Redon deliberately leaves this open to interpretation, inviting viewers to evoke moods and emotions, rather than trying to depict a concrete subject. There is again, though, a slight strange element of divine energy that seems to emanate from this figure, at least for me. Perhaps it's just the beard and the noticeably compassionate expression on his face, in spite of the dark chaos around him, but he almost appears to look like Jesus Christ, which when looking at other examples of Redon's work, even within other noir drawings, depictions of Christ would not be a stranger to his collection. Regardless of the exact identity, the figure's ghostly appearance suggests a presence from beyond the realm of living, hinting at themes of mortality, spirituality, and the unknown. Redon was deeply influenced by the writings and imagery used within the short stories of Edgar Allan Poe and other Gothic writers, whose themes would often leak into the work of Redon's. Furthermore, the composition of Apparition adds to its enigmatic atmosphere. The figure is positioned slightly off-center, creating a sense of imbalance and tension. The use of negative space and shadow further emphasizes the eerie mood, drawing the viewer's gaze towards a mysterious figure at the edge of a work, with the darkness and shadow also being a key character in itself alongside the figure. Through its dreamlike imagery, ambiguous subject matter, and supernatural atmosphere, the drawing is a prime example of Redon's invitation to viewers to explore the depths of their own imagination and subconscious, making it both a haunting display but a fascinatingly interactive one. The next charcoal drawing is titled Cactus Man, completed between 1881 and 1882. The drawing depicts a man's head emerging from a decorative square flower pot. The head itself is also covered in menacing-looking spikes, resembling that of a cactus. His expression seems to be one of observation, with large, somewhat dull eyes and full lips. The flower pot, although quite tricky to make out, is decorated with an image of an Amazon slaying a man, referencing the Greek myth of these female warriors, whose conflation of feminine and masculine traits poetically echoes the conflation of human and plant forms presented to us in the drawing. Although again, it is open to personal perspective, I can't help but get the impression that this drawing, presenting the merge of human and plant features, interestingly challenges our perception of boundaries between the human world and the natural world. This blurring could represent a connection to nature, a vulnerability to its harshness, or perhaps a potential for growth and resilience. The cactus spikes emerging from the man's head evoke the suffering of Christ's crown of thorns, suggesting themes of sacrifice, endurance, and the potential for beauty to emerge from pain. The image of the Amazon on a flower pot, known for their strength and defiance of traditional gender roles, juxtaposes the seemingly passive portrayal of a man. This could be interpreted as a commentary on the societal expectations of masculinity, or a broader exploration of gender fluidity. In addition, perhaps the figure's solitary confinement in the pot and his large, observant eyes suggest themes of isolation, introspection, and a silent awareness of a world around him. One other interpretation I came across, which I found quite surprising, explores the potential influence of Redon's exposure to an exhibition showcasing the indigenous people of Tierra del Fuego, an archipelago at the southernmost tip of South America, who had a profound, if not complicated, impact on the artist, and whom he described as being, quote, haughty, cruel, and grotesque. On the one hand, he also reportedly admired the purity and simplicity of the so-called primitive people, while on the other hand, he recognized them as the fearsome barbarity of man's origins. With the decorative flower pot, a symbol of Western culture and containment, Redon's hybrid Cactus Man can thus be understood as an attempt to reconcile the two poles of human existence, nature and culture, wild and civilized. But of course, and I can't stress this enough, the complexities of such an interpretation require careful consideration and sensitivity. It's important to remember that this was an artist whose father was a slave trader during a very different time in history to today, where many Europeans had a rather, shall we say, warped view of native people. So if we're going to take an interpretation like this into account, it's vital to understand the circumstances and nature of Redon's generation and upbringing. In any case, by examining the various symbols and their potential meanings, Cactus Man allows us to delve into the themes of human connection to nature, the complexities of human experience, and the power of art to evoke emotions and inspire contemplation. Next, we have the charcoal lithograph created in 1882, titled "The Eye, like a strange balloon, moves towards infinity." It is the first plate from a 10-part series titled An Edgar Poe, once again inspired by the works of the American writer Edgar Allan Poe. The artwork features a single disembodied eye, morphed into a strange shape of a hot air balloon, its upward-gazing iris and pupil resembling a dark, pulsating void. The eye is depicted as detached from its owner, floating freely against a hazy background of thick clouds. Instead of a basket containing passengers, the balloon carries what looks like a severed head on a platter, much like that of St. John the Baptist in the biblical story of Siloam. In the lower left, the fronds of a lonely palm-like plant are peering out of the shadows. The central eye is often interpreted as a symbol of the human mind, specifically the conscious and unconscious aspects. From my personal point of view, its disembodied nature might suggest a separation from the physical world, delving into the realms of dreams, imagination, and introspection. The many faint ropes attaching to the eye can be seen as representing the tenuous connection between the conscious and unconscious mind, or the fragile nature of human thought and perception. The balloon-like quality of the eye might further suggest a sense of ascension or the desire of journeying towards the unknown, potentially referencing the vastness of the human psyche or the mysteries of the universe. The cloudy background adds to the dreamlike and ethereal quality of the artwork. The eyeball disassociated from the physical body could be seen as a symbol for freedom from the constraints of everyday life and the attainment of a higher plane of consciousness. According to scholar and curator Jodie Hauptman, quote, "Floating up towards infinity, let loose from the limitations of body and mind, Redon's eyes are free to really see beyond reality, beyond nature, beyond the visible." End quote. The connection to Edgar Allan Poe is also significant. Poe's work often explored themes of darkness, the supernatural, and the exploration of the human psyche. These themes resonate with the symbolist elements presented in Redon's artwork. The eye's unsettling gaze and its journey towards infinity evoke a sense of mystery, introspection, and the potential for encountering the unknown that mirrors the introspective and often unsettling nature of Poe's writing. Overall, this artwork truly is thought-provoking, encouraging much contemplation. Through its symbolist imagery, it delves into the complexities of the human mind and invites viewers to consider the vastness of the unseen and the journey of self-discovery. Next, we have Redon's Infinite Search from Night, created in 1886, a lithograph that captures yet more haunting and enigmatic elements. In this work, the dominating image is that of a figure with strands of straw-like hair and exaggerated facial features, overlooking what looks like some kind of chalice emitting vapor or smoke that climbs to the ceiling of an ancient-looking room, almost reminiscent of a medieval castle or a church. This figure to me almost resembles a witch experimenting with alchemy in the dead of night. She appears to be in a state of contemplation, focusing on the chalice, or perhaps searching for something intangible, as suggested by the title, The Infinite Search. The figure's elongated form, warped facial features, and sinuous contours evoke a sense of movement and transformation, suggesting a state of flux or metamorphosis. As is typical of Redon's work that we've already seen, symbolism plays a significant role in The Infinite Search. The nocturnal setting and the figure's solitary journey evoke a sense of existential angst and the quest for meaning in the face of mystery. The lithograph itself is extremely mysterious, leaving more questions than answers, and a complex melting pot of moods. It wouldn't surprise me though if this was exactly what Redon intended. Let's now take a look at one of Redon's most recognizable charcoal drawings, the 1887 piece simply titled The Smiling Spider. The drawing features a rather large spider with a fuzzy-looking body and 10 legs instead of the usual 8. Its most striking feature is its very human-like facial features, consisting of a snub nose and a wide, smiling mouth that reveals a row of tiny white teeth, creating a strange and paradoxical image. From the way the spider is tilted, it gives off the impression that the spider is descending from a thread of its web from the ceiling down to what looks like a kitchen floor. Much like the images of Christ, spiders have appeared before in his work with equally bizarre blends of arachnid and human features. Redon based this particular print upon an earlier charcoal drawing, but the lithographic medium, which uses greasy ink or crayon applied directly to a smooth stone, was equally well suited to the artist's exploration of the color black. For me, I immediately get the sense that the spider, with its additional legs and human smile, suggests a creature from the realm of dreams, nightmares, or the subconscious. The smile, a symbol of joy and friendliness, juxtaposed with the spider, a creature often associated with fear and danger, creates an interesting sense of duality. This reflects the complexities of human nature and the potential for both good and evil within us. The spider might represent hidden fears or anxieties that lurk beneath the surface of our consciousness, or perhaps within the artist himself. The act of drawing it out and giving it form, even a seemingly playful one, could be a way for Redon to confront these fears. Much like the Cactus Man, this work blurs the lines between the natural world, that being the spider, and the human world, with its human-like smile. This reflects a common theme in symbolism, where artists explored the imaginative and subjective experience of reality to create an image that is totally fantastical. It comes to little surprise that Redon was reportedly fascinated with the natural sciences, and with the encouragement of his friend, the botanist Armand Clevel, he studied anatomy, osteology, and microscopic life. He also frequently visited Paris's Museum of Natural History, which included exhibits of biological abnormalities, and he even attended scientific lectures. It seems that many of these beasts and monsters that appear in his work could well have been based on observation, but were mutated by his imagination. The smiling spider serves as a wonderful recognition of our humanity in these strange hybrid creatures. The almost inherent human fear of spiders, mixed with the playful grin of a fuzzy spider, makes images like this both appealing and unsettling at the same time. Another unnerving example of Redon's noirs is titled Before I Saw the Vaporous Contours of a Human Form, another lithograph completed in 1896. Like an image straight out of a ghost story, this piece is incredibly chilling. Interestingly enough, this image was in fact used as part of a series inspired by a ghost story, The Haunted and the Haunters by Edward Bulwer Lytton, leaving us with some confidence that this lithograph is certainly an exploration of the supernatural. The title itself sparks curiosity. It hints at a mysterious vision, a revelation where a human form emerges from something undefined. It may even be a direct quote and experience of Redon himself. The central image is a white, hazy, and wispy form that suggests a human figure. It's not a clear representation, but rather an impressionistic blur. The figure sits in a dark room where we can see in the background two staring eyes gazing towards us and the figure from the darkness. Which leaves us with a puzzling and uncomfortable question. Is the ghost the seated hazy figure in front, or is it the eyes that we can see in the shadows? Without a doubt, many of Redon's noir drawings capture the most intrigue within the vast collection of his artwork, but there are still some wonderful examples of his more colourful work that capture the same level of fascination. So for the rest of this video, I'd like us to take a look at some of Redon's pastel and oil paintings to not only observe his versatility as an artist, but also explore the same degree of mystery that he accomplishes within these works. For example, his piece titled Figure, created in 1876, interestingly seems to almost capture the same themes and moods as his first piece we looked at, Guardian Spirit of the Waters. We're once again presented with a large head suspended in the air with the aid of angel-like wings against a beautiful setting or rising sun. Behind it is an elegant woman who seems to be holding the disembodied head with the ease of drying and washing. The orange glowing sun behind feels similarly omnipotent. The way it seems to fill the entire background puts an end to any sense of the outward exterior perspective. Unlike Guardian of the Spirit Waters, the expression of the head in this work looks off with an expression of irony, as explained in a very poetic article on this work written by Tom Quay, which I thought would be worth sharing. Quote, "Its stern jaw, detailed with an earthly simplicity, contours stern and strong as the holder's own face is scrawled. With an alarming surety, the head gazes off beyond the image to elsewhere. She is not concerned with the situation and suggests that neither should you be. Rather, the real marvel here is the palette of figure, its drying radiating heat that folds over the image with a wicked hue. Below the duo, a crispy bracken falls, seemingly glowing from within with an aureate display." End quote. Odilon Redon's Daydream from 1900 is a captivating exploration of the inner world. While the pastel drawing defies literal interpretation, various elements contribute to its dreamlike atmosphere and symbolic meaning. The central figure is a woman with flowing dark hair, her eyes in a state of serene contemplation. Her ghostly form suggests an ethereal presence, existing beyond the confines of a physical world. She appears to reside within a boundless cloudy space, rendered in a soft palette of blues, reds, and yellows, further emphasizing the ever-changing and unsolid quality of daydreaming. Her relaxed and almost meditative expression signifies once again a state of introspection, where the boundaries between reality and imagination blur. The absence of a defined background allows the viewer to project their own interpretations and emotions onto the scene. Redon was also deeply influenced by music, believing it held the key to unlocking the depths of a human psyche. He saw art as a visual manifestation of the emotions and experiences evoked by music. While Daydream doesn't depict any literal musical elements, the swirling forms and soft colours evoke a sense of harmony and flow, reminiscent of a musical soundscape. This connection is further strengthened by Redon's own writings, where he expressed the limitations of colour in capturing the essence of music, which he considered a purely internal experience. As we'll see in the next piece titled Parsifal, completed in 1912, even within Redon's work that included colour, dark and morbid themes would still occasionally creep up to the surface. With a similar yet bleaker style to that of Daydream, this gripping image of a solitary figure up against a lonely mountainous landscape is believed to be inspired by Wagner's three-act 1882 opera under the same name, inspired by the legend of the Holy Grail, where Redon revisits the theme of his earlier lithograph, made between 1891 and 1892. In this version though, Redon's Parsifal deviates significantly from the typical portrayals. Here the warrior has been stripped of his armour, his helmet and lance, transformed into a more introspective figure, perhaps a magus, a wise man or seer. This is evident in his solitary pose and the contemplative expression that's absent from traditional depictions. Parsifal dominates the foreground, emphasizing his monumentality and isolation. The background is stark, featuring bare mountains rendered in somber tones of violet and black. This barren landscape reflects Parsifal's internal state, one devoid of comfort or clear direction. The dominance of the two colours of violet and black contributes to the melancholic and introspective mood. Violet is often associated with spirituality and wisdom, and might hint at Parsifal's inner dream that seems to be haunting him. But the art also carries connotations of mourning, loss, and death, which is most suited to the colour black. As we already know, Redon was heavily inspired by music, and Redon's fascination with Wagner's opera is evident here. However, he departs from a literal representation, focusing instead on the character's internal struggles rather than his external actions. Presenting the characteristics of inner exploration is truly where Odilon Redon shined brightest in his creativity. In many ways, and if we've learned anything from other works of Redon that we've seen already, I feel that Parsifal can be seen as another beautiful and disquieting portrayal of a character on a deep introspective journey, inviting us to perhaps do the same. He may be grappling with past experiences, seeking answers, or confronting internal demons. For our final exploration of Redon's work, I'd like us to take a look at the painting called Cyclops, completed in 1914. This masterpiece of symbolism draws inspiration from the Greek myth of Polyphemus, a one-eyed giant in love with the sea nymph Galatea. However, Redon's interpretation transcends the literal narrative, offering a deeper exploration of desire, loneliness, and the complexities of the inner world. Not only would an appearance of the Cyclops be a returning theme in his art, but if you explore other examples of his work, you will encounter many other creatures of myth, legend, and folklore, ranging from other beasts of Greek mythology to strange characters of Shakespeare's writings. The most striking element is the uncanny appearance of the Cyclops, with its massive eye peering intently from behind a mountainous ridge, with its head cocked to one side like a curious animal. As we know, Redon was known for his use of eyes as potent symbols, and he imbues this one with an unsettling intensity. It represents not just observation, but a powerful and perhaps obsessive desire fixed on the sleeping Galatea below. The scene is bathed in an unnatural, dreamlike light. The vibrant colours of a landscape, blues, greens and yellows, contrast with the monstrous form of the Cyclops, creating a degree of unease. The painting is divided between the dark mountainous realm of a Cyclops and the brightly coloured, flower-filled world where Galatea rests. This split could maybe represent the conscious and subconscious minds, or the struggle between primal desires and beauty. The painting evokes a sense of longing and loneliness. The Cyclops' hidden position suggests shyness or shame, unable to directly confront the object of his affection. Galatea, oblivious in her slumber, underscores the one-sidedness of his desire. Redon's dreamlike imagery taps into the raw emotions and primal urges that reside beneath the surface of our minds. The Cyclops, with his abnormal appearance, could easily embody these untamed desires. It's also worth taking into account that this was painted around the outbreak of World War I. Thus, the work might hold a hidden commentary on the destructive nature of unchecked passions and the blindness that can lead to violence. Whatever the case, Cyclops seems to beautifully transcend its mythological source, offering a timeless exploration of a human psyche. Through its dream-filled imagery and captivating symbolism, Redon gives us a chance here to confront our own inner monsters and grapple with the complicated aspects of desire and longing. Earlier I mentioned that Odilon Redon is a very big artistic influence of mine, and I feel I really need to emphasize that. My chosen go-to medium is pastel because I love how you can manipulate it so freely. I often like to smudge the colours together with my fingers and create hazy textures and so on. And although it can obviously get quite messy, I find that is very much part of the appealing challenge for me. To grab hold of something that can often be very unwieldy and tame it into something beautiful, crisp, and neat is such a rewarding feeling. And coming to learn more about Redon and how he used very similar techniques in his pastel and charcoal drawings, I find that very inspiring. But one thing I can't help but feel slightly envious about is seeing what he has, which I feel I often lack sometimes when it comes to my art, which is his seemingly endless imagination. Sure, he was more formally trained in art than me, but I feel his level of fantastical and surreal imagination is something that no level of training could inherently create. It is something that he was truly gifted with, and something that came so naturally to him. The fact is, there are so many other examples that I could have shown and discussed in this video, that I'm almost tempted to make another video on his work sometime in the future, if time allows. It was very hard to pick between his works, considering what can be learned and explored within his vast collection. But this is just the impact he's personally left on me. The reality is, his legacy has tapped into the hearts of so many other creatives and lovers of creativity over many generations, which is down to Redon's ability to depict what goes on inside our minds and the world of dreams throughout his art. His work invites viewers to delve into the mysteries of the mind and explore the depths of human experience. And this impact extends far beyond symbolism. His use of colour and exploration of abstraction in his later works foreshadowed movements like Surrealism. Artists like Matisse, Andre Breton, and the Noir group acknowledged his influence on their own artistic styles. He also bridged a very significant gap within the timeline of art history, specifically between the 19th and 20th centuries. While firmly rooted in symbolism, his innovative use of form and colour paved the way for artistic movements that would follow, especially like Surrealism, like I already mentioned, and abstract art. What more can he say? Redon was nothing less than a master of symbolic language, and his resonance within the trajectory of modern art can be heard all around us, from the halls of museums and galleries, to right here where we are now on YouTube, and many other online communities that adore him. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it intriguing and gave you an itch to explore more of Redon's work, and please let me know in the comments if you have your own interpretation about any of the art that we looked at. There's always a chance I may have overlooked a few things, and it's always important to share different perspectives with each other to give us a broader picture. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd like to take a moment just before I head off to share some more art with my end of video feature, Artist Corner. Here I get to share some artwork sent to me by one of my viewers, and today's featured artist is Hope Bartley, a dynamic mixed media artist hailing from the captivating island of Jamaica, who draws inspiration from his Kingston roots. From a young age, art has been Hope's preferred language of self-expression. His journey led him to Germany, where he pursued a master's in architecture at the prestigious Bauhaus Institute in Dessau, infusing his artistic creations with distinctive architectural influence. Hope's work engages in compelling discussions surrounding race and masculinity, providing a thought-provoking exploration of these intricate themes through the medium of mixed media. His pieces reflect a harmonious blend of cultural influences, embodying the rich tapestry of his Jamaican upbringing and global education. Hope Bartley's art stands as a testament to the potency of self-expression and the convergence of diverse experiences in crafting a distinctive artistic narrative. Quote, "In my artistic pursuits, I take a profound exploration and critique of intricate subjects such as masculinity, race, and post-colonialism. Through my approach of mixed media painting, I seek to engage the viewer's diverse sensory experiences, encouraging contemplation of nuanced dimensions inherent in these topics. Within the realm of post-colonialism, my work serves as a visual dialogue that challenges historical narratives, prompting reflections on enduring impacts of colonial legacies, particularly in shaping perceptions of gender and race." Hope continues by saying, "Societal critiques are seamlessly woven into the fabric of my art. urging viewers to confront uncomfortable truths and partake in conversations that transcend the confines of the canvas. The deliberate venture into new materials reflects my commitment to pushing the boundaries of artistic expression. This exploration into uncharted territories enables me to construct narratives that are both visually captivating and conceptually profound. As I navigate these intersections of diverse perspectives, my art evolves into a dynamic platform for meaningful discourse." End quote. When I first saw Hope's art after he contacted me on Instagram, I was instantly struck by his work's elegant flavour and how incredibly skillful his attention to detail is. The way he blends his paintings executed in a classical style with the rough and crude application of white wall compound makes his art really unique and eye-catching, with an inspiring and important message that resonates from them. I couldn't recommend him enough to everyone watching. Please be sure to show him some support and keep up to date with his new projects. Give him a follow on Instagram and check out his website by following the links on screen or click the links below in the description. If you too are an artist and want to be featured on my channel, please send me a paragraph about yourself as well as examples of your work to my email blinddweller@gmail.com or in an Instagram message. A big thank you to Andrew Yeoman for providing the music for this video. And finally, as always, a big thank you to all of my close friends and supporters on Patreon and YouTube's channel membership. Here's a shout out to all of my top paying donators: Gershon Kreimer, Port Perea, Miles Z, Vlad Siv, Tyler Butler, Harley Raven, Eric Lamarca, Dave MC, Molotale, Equatamok, Lee Flowers, Calvin Kai, The New Ongoing 24, Akaiza, Charlie Sanchisi, Ken B, and Carol H. That's all from me until next time. See you in another video soon. Keep being creative, and bye for now.